Now, to think that the guys who were designing this were still on slide rules and things like that. I mean, it's kind of a cliche, but this came out of the 50s, this type of thinking. And it's like, let's solve this problem and let's find something that can perform a mission. And the fact that this made it into the production stage as far as prototypes, which we'll go through, is just astounding. But I got to go back. I know the date, and I know the date mostly because I have pictures with the date stamped on it. But it was July 20th, 1979. I was just graduated high school, and my dad took my brothers and I and a French exchange student that was living with us up to Dayton, Ohio, my first trip to the Airforce Museum. And parked out in front of the museum was an airplane I'd never seen before. I had no idea it existed. Imagine that, as much as I love airplanes, that I'd never heard of it. Well, it had been sitting there for 10 years since it was retired and flown to the museum. There was the Valkyrie. It was nose to nose with a B-52, which I did know. My dad explained, well, this was the plane that was supposed to replace the B-52. I'm like, what? I mean, it looks like it could, at that point, it was still tremendous looking, but I knew nothing about it. And then for the next couple of years, occasional magazines like Wings or Air Power would have a feature on the Valkyrie, and I was just devouring everything I could. But there was not a lot of written material that was easy to get your hands on. So I tried to learn what I could. I went up to the museum again a couple of years later, and by that time they moved it inside, which I thought, well, that's great because I hate seeing aircraft outside. And
especially
then
in Dayton weather.
Oh, absolutely. They put it through its paces. So then found a book on it, and then another book, and then was looking for models of it. Bought T-shirts and badges and pins and things, whatever I could find. But still, I thought, well, this is such an unusual aircraft. Then learning the history of it and finding people who knew lots and were willing to share. It's been a real adventure learning more about this fantastic plane. Lots of cool technologies, from what it's made of to the way that it had, I think, the largest movable control surface on any aircraft. Dave, does that sound right to you? Those wingtips that droop? I think
yes,
that's
I believe
correct.
so.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe you're right.
Six engines lined up that we'll talk about. I mean, just unbelievable altitude and speed and everything. So, I like the Blackbird. I think the Blackbird's an amazing thing, but everybody knows about the Blackbird. Not enough people know about this. So let's change that.
Right.
Okay.